ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930 present The Drive.
It is Wednesday, December 14th. Your drive begins now on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We're going to open up our text line this hour, 304-396-TALK. That's 304-396-8255. We've got a lot to get into today. Of course, we had the athletic update to the Board of Governors. We're going to get into that. There's going to be a couple of changes for Marshall Athletics. Going to be a new scoreboard. That's always exciting. There's going to be alcohol sales as well, so that's important. We'll discuss that later. We've got Marshall basketball last night to talk to you about. We're going to hear a little bit more from the football team as the Herd getting set to head down to the Myrtle Beach Bowl. So we'll hear from Devin Miller, Owen Porter, and Eli Neal on going to the game. And we'll get your text in. 304-396-TALK, 304-396-8255. That's the number to text to be a part of the program today. We got to start with Marshall women's basketball. The Thundering Herd going down for an 11 a.m. game. It was a game full of those screaming kids. You know the kind of game I'm talking about, right? It's like an education day. It's a field trip for a lot of the schools, a lot of the kids, so you know how it goes. These kids come in and they're just screaming, they're hollering. Anything that happens is exciting. They're going to yell, and it's a great atmosphere, actually. You know, I sat through one of those a couple of years ago, and I'm telling you, the kids get it. They do it better than the adults. They're having a great time, and there's energy in the building. I think you should always bring kids in. Just, I don't know, can you have school day games? Let's just play games at 11 a.m., bring the school kids in, let them scream. It's so much fun. It wasn't fun for the Herd, though. The Thundering Herd losing to South Florida 77-68. Watching the game, I thought it was a great effort by the Thundering Herd and Tony Kemper's squad, and he talked about playing a good squad after the loss.
We played a good basketball team today. You know, if you followed along and watched on television, physical, it was, the energy in the building was I thought our team handled it really well, but it was a fun environment to play. It was loud in here all day. And actually they had a group of kids that knew who to cheer for. Usually sometimes it doesn't happen. But the environment, because this team that is used to winning and playing well at home. I think we grew. I think we're a better basketball team now than we were when we came in here. As long as we, take the lessons and hold on to them and then put them to work in our next game against, St. Bonaventure and then on down the road. But I thought it was very important to play tough, and I think we did that on the road in our last road game before we open conference play at South Alabama. So there's lessons in there for us to learn, and hopefully we did. But I mean, that's a good basketball team and fun to play against. I mean, we got the ball where we wanted. They had really good quality players at those spots, and made it difficult on us to play well.
That's Tony Kemper after the loss, and Thundering Herd back in action coming up this weekend. And it's going to be the first time the ladies are on the brand new court. We'll talk a little bit more about the new court and some happenings that took place today. Board of Governors meeting, sports update. There's some new things that are going to be happening at Marshall, not just for basketball, but for football as well. And to tell us more about it when we come back from break will be Debra Boughton, the Executive Associate Athletic Director for Championship Planning and Resources. And we'll talk to her. We'll go ahead and take our break early. We'll talk to her when we continue on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
We continue on with the Wednesday edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I want to welcome to the program now. I've been trying to book her forever, and I finally got her. She's busier than the athletic director because, according to Ryan Crisp, who comes on the show occasionally, that she's the one really in charge. And that is Debra Boughton. She is the Executive Associate Athletic Director for Championship Planning and Resources, and she's with us now on the program. I'm excited to do this. We've been trying to do this several times. Last time, I think it was when we were downtown Huntington for the Hoops event, so we missed out there. I'm glad you're into the studio today. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Paul.
So, for those that don't know what a director of championship planning and resources does, what's your interpretation of the title?
Yeah, well, it's the most fantastic title. It's the longest title in department. When Christian and I were talking about this opportunity, I've known Christian for 12 years. We worked together at Northern Illinois University, and when he left there to go to Eastern Michigan and then on to Pitt, we had made this agreement way back when that whoever got the athletic director job first would come and work for that person, and so obviously Christian beat me across the finish line, and so we've been talking about this opportunity for quite some time, and he put up this title together. I'm like, wow, that's an impressive title there, Christian. It's pretty much all the things. I'm going to direct a lot of the resource allocation, revenue generation. I have the really great opportunity to help our external team lately. We elevated Ryan Crisp, and we brought on Grant Traylor, and they've just done a fantastic job. So I'm able to lead them as well. So, and really just focusing our efforts strategically on elevating all of our programs to championship programs. That's what we're going to strive to get to. It's not, it is football, of course. It is basketball, of course, but it's all the way across all sports. So I'm excited to try to influence where I can, and really raise the level of the bar that's already set here at Marshall.
Did I hear Christian say that just publicly that the reason why he says it because he wants it to happen, that Marshall will be the first team from the Sun Belt into the expanded playoff? I heard that correctly today, right?
You heard it.
Okay.
You heard it, and he says it a lot. When we were at NIU, I got there, and part of his pitch to me when I got there, he was not the athletic director at the time. He said, we will be the first team from the MAC in a BCS bowl game. And we were, and we went to the Orange Bowl, and so it's very odd. I mean, he speaks it out loud. He says it all the time, and then he says he speaks it into existence. We're gonna have to all start believing it.
So he says it, and then you've got to figure it out, right?
That's right.
Is that the goal?
That's right. All the pathway, yeah. Get it done. Turn all the wrenches, and make sure that everything's in alignment to make it happen. And there's a lot of pieces to it, right? And everything matters. Christian has a saying, and it's contagious, but everything matters. You'd be surprised at why a certain kind of water fountain matters, and that's what's going to get us to the CFP. But it's those little things. It's everything matters, and everybody's got to be rowing in the same direction.
So a lot of things happened today. Of course, speaking to the Board of Governors, I think probably the biggest project that's on everyone's mind is the scoreboards. That's a mandate from the Sun Belt for a lot of the other sports. And, of course, so if you're going to buy one, might as well buy in bulk and get as many as you can.
Yeah, this is a tremendous opportunity to really add a lot of engagement to our current facilities. One of the things that really attracted me to this job was really how much our fans show up, kind of win, lose, or draw, hopefully winning more than not. But really just the support of the fan base is just amazing. And I think we owe it to them to create an atmosphere and experience that's second to none. Obviously, it's a recruitment issue, too, to have these really exciting things. You can do so much more on new technology that's just going to be tremendous for everybody's experience at our events. So the Board of Governors did approve us to move forward with a project that will encompass football video boards at men's and women's soccer, also at our new baseball park, and then also at softball. So it's a pretty big project, all privately funded, which we're super excited about. It's been an amazing effort from our Big Green staff and Christian, and to get that gift online so we can make this project a reality.
The question that has been asked, and I think it was answered today, but just for clarification, how are we paying for this is always what I've been asked about these video boards. And
yep.
With the goal of trying to make the athletic department self-sufficient as much as possible, where are the resources coming from, and how are you making that work?
Yeah, we secured a private gift over a 10-year span to total the amount that we projected as the up to cost for the boards, and we're very happy that it's been pushed along through the Big Green resources, and I believe we're going to make a large announcement here soon. But yeah, privately funded, and so that's the way we're going to get things really accomplished here. I always say that's how you control your destiny as you do your own on your own. So super generous community, wonderful fan base, and I'm excited to show them what we've got to offer.
Now, the video board's not just going to be a video board in the end zone. There's going to be a project that goes along with it, because speaking with Christian, he wanted to make that a completely different area. Me personally, I've hated those erector set type seats back there for years, and so those are going to come down, and that's going to be transformed into a different area.
Yeah, and that's a separate approval process we'll have to go through in schematics, but that certainly is the long play for this area. Lots of different opportunities to kind of make that more of a concourse area for our fans. There's idea of restaurants, 365 stuff. So, I mean, just really creative, out-of-the-box thinking of how do we make this a great place to hang out, a great place for our fans. It's unfortunately, a football stadium, a lot of investment for 7 events a year. So how do we expand that? How do we get more people, traffic, whether it's our stadium store, whether it's a 365, restaurant? How do we keep people coming into our facilities more than 7 times a year? It's a big investment for 7 days. So super important that we try to really extend that. And then obviously during game, it makes a lot of sense to have our fans have a different experience walking around. The concourses are a little dated, a little older on each side. And so trying to just modernize a little bit of it without having to modernize the entire space.
Is it fair to say the long-term plan is to go in and modernize as much as you possibly can, including those concourses?
Yeah, I mean, it would be fair to say that, right? The funding obviously has to come, and we will find people that want to really invest into that project. We'll be announcing soon a different capital campaign. So pretty excited about really the trajectory of what we're doing right now. And, Christian's a fast but fast person. I'm a little bit of a slow but fast. So we're definitely a great pair.
Joining us on the program to talk about a lot of improvements and projects happening at Marshall is Debra Boughton. She's the Executive Athletic Director for Championship Planning and Resources. And the scoreboards, I'm sure, have been the big topic. And that includes, as you mentioned, the other facilities. Soccer is going to get a new video board. And, of course, those renderings aren't the final rendering. So we'll see, a final project soon. And I'm sure they're all going to be beautiful and be incorporated, quite nicely into the existing facilities. And this is something that's desperately needed, obviously, for all those sports, because my understanding, just by being around Christian, is he wants everything he possibly can for every sport. If you are a coach or a student athlete at Marshall University, you have to have as good of experience as possible.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's the everything matters thing. It really is comprehensive. And just because we do one project first, that doesn't mean that we don't have other projects in line. And part of that is just communicating, making sure that everybody feels included in the plan. And that's something we work on every day to ensure that, that we have a plan, that we have it all lined out, that this locker room's next, this locker room's next, this stadium's next, et cetera. So it's a comprehensive effort, and we're going to try to get it done as much as we can.
Let's talk basketball, because that's where we're going to see a lot of changes coming up this weekend. We've got games on Saturday and Sunday. Thundering Herd coming back home to take on Toledo, and then the women will be back in action on Sunday. The floor, we've been waiting for this, and it's finally here. And they're putting the finishing touches on now, or is it completely done, ready to go?
Yesterday I went in there. It's completely down. I know we were doing some cutting and molding and putting things back. The floors aren't always exactly the same size, so the configuration we had before may not be exactly as far as, the little runners and such. So I know our facilities team's doing a fantastic job making sure that is perfect and safe and as what people expect, but it is sharp. It looks great. It really does.
The opportunity for Herd fans to see that Saturday and Sunday. And there's some other improvements, other changes to the facility. Of course, the area that was known as Herd Heaven, the bleachers section, That is finally going to be transformed a little bit. There's going to be some new signage up there, banners. What will that look like?
Yeah, there's a couple of banners on either side, as you mentioned. I hadn't heard Heaven, but that's an interesting.
That's the long-term name for it.
Yeah,
Herd Heaven.
it wasn't the safest place to sit, so we wanted to ensure that we had spaces that our fans could really feel safe, secure, and enjoy the game. And they look fantastic. I don't want to give away too much, but the wraps are very encompassing, right? Really fill in the space really, really well. And I don't, if you walked in there now, I don't think you'd ever imagine there were seats under there. It would look like it was there the whole time. So consistent with our branding, but modern, modern look. I think it's fantastic. I walked in there yesterday and was really impressed. I knew it was going up there, and I still was impressed about what was going up there. So. And
that's going to cover the entire area, not just the corners, right?
Right. So all the way across on both sides. So our capacity now will be 5,467 or 5,476. Ryan will be mad at me that I don't have it exact, but 5,400 will be our full capacity for basketball games and volleyball games. So, obviously we want to make it a goal to sell out every single game. But yeah, it looks fantastic. I'm excited for our fans to see it and really be proud of that facility.
Other items that'll be happening at the Henderson Center. Now there will be, the beverage selection is improved.
It is expanded, right? We had talked about this a few months ago. We do finally have the approval through our concessionaire, and the state licensure is to start selling beer and wine at our basketball games in the Henderson. So we're very excited about that. It starts on Saturday at 3:30. I've already seen the table set up. You can see it on social. There's a couple posts about it already. Bring your ID and enjoy responsibly.
Herd Country, I'm sure, will be on tap, right?
Herd Country, there? Of course, will be readily available to purchase. Yes. It's all lining up, Paul. You can see our strategy here, right?
Right, exactly. Hey, and I Christian told me a few weeks ago, stay in my lane, when I suggested that there should be an energy drink, a herd energy drink. I keep bringing that up to all the other departments. See if I can get one of those.
Actually, I think I was here when you brought it up the first time.
Okay.
And I was like, that's a really good idea. I mean, we ended up giving away, I don't know if you saw this promotion, but we had the football game and then reverse tailgate into men's basketball, and we gave away Bang energy drinks at the basketball game. Kind of the stay energized and, come support the herd with a bang or something. I think we tried to come up with something catchy. And I don't know. I thought it was kind of clever. I don't know if people just were like, yeah, that's great. I love free bang. But anyway, but yeah, I like it. I don't think it's dead yet. So give us some time.
Okay. I mean, 'cause I was trying to come up with the branding, and he was like, well, ease up. That's our job, not yours.
Yeah. Well, the idea is, hey, listen, our fans aren't shy to come to our games and cheer on the herd, and they're not shy to share ideas. We know that too.
How do those fans compare to other places you've been as far as sharing those ideas?
Again, I think they're remarkable. I think the fan engagement and hearing what our fans, how they feel about things, I think it's a fantastic part of what we do. And again, I was super impressed by. I was actually at the national championship in 2020 at the soccer, but not related to Marshall or anything. And I was just amazed at the green, and again, I just remembered that from. When Christian had mentioned that he was looking at this opportunity, and I'm like, well, that'd be fantastic. We have some really super engaged fans. And, sometimes, engaged fans is a great thing, and sometimes it's, an okay thing. But we launched our a fan committee a few months ago, and we need to follow up with that group. And I think what they're feeling out there is super important that we should be able to be responsive for. I mean, we're using our discretionary dollars to come and support the herd. We should hear some of the feedback and do the things that we can do.
Joining us on the program, Debra Boughton, the Executive Associate Athletic Director for Championship Planning and Resources, as we just detailed some changes coming to the Henderson Center. I know there are always plans in place to try to improve everything you possibly can. Long-term goals for the Henderson Center, I know it's been discussed, I'm sure, ad nauseum. New facility, renovate the old facility. What do you envision long-term for the basketball facility, or just the facility? Because, again, it serves more than just basketball.
Yeah, the Board of Governors also approved today a project that would allow us to begin in earnest the procurement of equipment to provide HVAC services to the arena and the Gullickson Gym. so needed. Someone mentioned today, 42 years later, and trying to get some air conditioning into the arena. There's just so many opportunities for us there. Outside events, camps and clinics, which we have already, but I don't know if you've been up there in August, Paul, but it's hot. And we've really done quite a bit of work on the practice gym, Gullickson Gym, and working through some announcements there. But making that super special, and I think we installed some big fans up there to push the air. But ultimately, the air conditioner obviously is something we've got to deal with, and to make it just more pleasant in those spaces for our fans, for our student athletes, for the community, and again, give us other opportunities to bring other events in. Obviously, that's something, 1 to 3 years, get that done as far as that. And, we always look at other opportunities. I think the city's ready for opportunities. The mayor's super engaged and proactive about all the events that are going around here. The Innovation District, the thing with our new business school. There's just... if you're not looking for opportunities to expand and do something special, I think we're going to miss some things. So we'll leave that a little teaser there for that. But certainly focusing some of our efforts to make sure that our facilities are fantastic right now for the kids we have now. That's a little bit of the trade, right? You look forward 3 to 5 years, what's it look like, but you want to make sure that it's special now because we're competing now, and you want to make sure that the kids feel really great about their experience.
I just as anecdotal talking to Ari Agnes. It's like, okay, what do you need? And she's like, air conditioning. Yeah, that's a big thing for kids. They come in, okay, air conditioning.
It's hot in there. And, as we look to elevate volleyball and really prioritize the experiences there for those student athletes in that program, that's a big missing piece for them. I mean, they come in July, August, their games are in September, and it's warm in there. And it's, again, for our fans, for our kids, for all the people that are in there, it just elevates it. It's just one more thing. Do
you see any, and again, I don't want to hang too much on the basketball facility because there's so many things going on, but with the concourse area, the same thing with football, opportunities there to maybe really modernize that, bring it into the 21st century, or at least, improve the fan experience on that aspect?
Yeah. I mean, I know certainly that'll be next. It's one of those really kind of conflicts when you're in this enterprise is, what do you improve first? Do you improve the fan spaces first, or do you improve the student athlete spaces first? And we've kind of been tackling everything all at once, and somewhat aligning. Obviously air conditioning is going to help everybody. But like I mentioned to you a little bit about the Pathway Project, that's where the way that our kids walk from their locker room to the arena and back again in that facility, that's more for our student athletes to feel really special. So I think it's just going to take time. It's what do you focus on first, and we are kind of focusing on everything. So I know the concourses and the CAM will get updated. Another thing I'd love to see is the translucent lights being lit green every time we have a game. So when you drive by, you know exactly when our games are. Right now, it seems dark. It seems like we don't know if we have one. I want to make it obvious when you're driving through that there's a game tonight and you need to be there. So again, it's all about kind of waiting for the funding to get here and making sure, we're smart with our resources. But we have a lot of things in mind that we want to make sure we get done.
Debra Boughton's with me, Executive Associate Athletic Director for Championship Planning and Resources. I know basketball and football, not the only things that are happening for Marshall. What can you update us on as far as maybe some of the things that Herd fans should be excited for, or that maybe you should look forward to seeing?
Yeah, I'm sure we've talked about it, but the resurgence of our adding back men's indoor and outdoor track, obviously that'll get going here in the next month or so. They had their first event last Friday. And then there will be track meets coming up at our indoor practice facility here coming up soon. So I would just encourage folks to just do what they can to support, especially a sport we're bringing back and that hasn't been on campus for a while, and really make it worthwhile for folks the student athletes that are participating, and obviously our coaches as well. So I think that's special. I was at a volleyball game where I met one of the former men's track student athletes from probably quite a few years ago, and we kind of gave him a little teaser that was happening. And it was right before the Board of Governors meeting where that was approved. And, he was very emotional about that happening and us even considering doing it. So we're going to try to bring back those alumni. I believe it's sometime in mid-January. I apologize, I don't have the exact date. But it is, I think it's going to be super special to see that program come back and really elevate both the cross-country team for the men and then the entire women's track team as well. So that'll be fun to watch, especially if you're into track.
A lot of people are into track, miss outdoor track, miss men's track. So that's a great addition. And, of course, baseball, you got talked about today. We can see the progress because we can look at the dirt being moved. So that's something that we know things are moving over there.
Things are moving. There's trailers. It's been cleared. It's we can't park as easily over there to visit our softball field anymore. It's an aggressive timeline, but I really believe that it'll be met. We've got 15 more months to get it all done. There was a construction meeting a couple days, day or so ago, and the vibe in there is just like, I think a lot of excitement and a little bit of relief that it's really going to happen. And so, our institution, at Marshall, Brad Smith, Tony Stroud, they're just 100% behind this effort. And I really can't see it fail. The dirt that we're digging down, there's a big hole there. And sky's the limit. I'm just excited for both programs, excited for our baseball program, excited for softball. It's going to be just an amazing collaboration for that entire corner. And we'll have to make improvements along the way. We'll have to figure out, the traffic flow and all the other construction that's going on besides that around that area. I think it's just going to blow up once both those facilities are up and running really strong.
And the thing here is, you mentioned softball because softball is going to benefit so much from everything that's planned in addition to just the baseball park.
Yeah, I mean, the adjacency of the complexes being right next to each other, ballpark being right next to the softball field is just amazing. And you're right. I mean, both softball will definitely benefit from the adjacency of the ballpark, no doubt. And I'm excited to elevate both programs. Again, if you go back to the thing I said earlier, everything matters. Everything matters. So when we're there installing some lights at a new ballpark and the softball field's next door, we would just be missing the boat if we didn't tie those two projects together. So, it seems like a no-brainer, but you have to be intentional about doing it.
And the concession stands, shared facilities, and those, it just goes beyond just this connecting the two.
Absolutely. Broadcast spaces, making sure we're top of the line there for both. Exceedingly great concessions, not just selling packaged stuff. We can really, really enhance the experience for our fans and, summertime outings. And again, just kind of think outside the box of what those spaces could be used for when they have such a great adjacency. We have parking there. Or we will have parking there, and just a great atmosphere, in and around that area.
My guest, Debra Boughton, the Executive Associate Athletic Director for Championship Planning and Resources. Did I miss anything? I feel like I've got most of it, but I want to make sure I got everything.
I think so. I think we've just about covered it. Oh, bowl game. Bowl game this week.
Is there a game this week?
Oh my gosh.
Is there a game this week?
Oh my gosh. I almost forgot. Right.
Is something happening on Monday?
Yeah.
There's a basketball game Monday. I know that.
There is. We the travel party leaves tomorrow for Myrtle Beach. So I've been in and around doing a lot of planning for that, and our football program's done a great job of tightening up all the details. And it's a big endeavor. Every time you go to a bowl game, it's a 5-day football trip of 200 plus people. So it's quite a big endeavor. But our staff has worked really hard to make sure that our kids have a great experience, and also our fans and our staff. And our coaches and coaches' families. So. Excited about that. The game is Monday at 2:30. There is a watch party at the Henderson. Will be open. I believe the first 200 guests, free popcorn and water. And then all the expanded concessions will also be available for that in advance of the basketball game that's at 5 o'clock.
Okay, so watch party, get to the Henderson Center, enjoy some popcorn. watch the game, and then there's a basketball game going on that night as well.
There is. And one more couple things I want to say about the basketball events this week. I'm really disappointed I'm not going to be here. I'm able to go to the Bowl this week. I will not be here for the basketball games, but beyond the brand new cam, the three things we mentioned, we're doing something I've been wanting to do, an event for years and years and years. We're doing a teddy bear toss at halftime.
Okay.
So for the game on Sunday, the women's game on Sunday, and then the men's game on Monday, people bring stuffed animals, teddy bears, to the game. At halftime, we're all going to toss the bears onto the court, and then they're all going to be donated to the Children's Hospital here. They do it at hockey after the first goal. This is a pretty popular thing in hockey. I've been wanting to do it at a basketball game for a number of years, and finally someone said, hey, that's not a terrible idea. Let's do it. So bring your teddy bears. It's all for a good cause, and I'm hoping we get a lot of the teddy bears on the court. So our staff, it takes them a long time to get it off the court.
Okay, teddy bear toss. I'm familiar with them. I don't know if they clued you in, but I've been pushing for a hockey team at Marshall for years.
Well, I didn't mean to bring up hockey.
No. Yeah, you walked right into the trap.
I did.
I was going to go away without that. No, now we have to talk about.
Now we put it out
That's
there.
a long-term plan, right?
How about first the teddy bear toss? Let's be successful there first.
Okay.
Execute with excellence, Paul.
Okay. Stay in my lane. I get it. I understand.
Energy drink, hockey. Got it. I got your priority.
I mean, I would. Well, actually, it's flipped for me, but
Okay.
I'll take the small victories where I can get them.
Okay. All right.
My guest, and hopefully she'll come back soon, Debra Boughton, the Executive Associate Athletic Director for Championship Planning and Resources. She's got to do all the heavy lifting, all the big ideas. A lot of them are hers, and she's got to also find the resources and make them happen. Come back soon. We'd love to have you back in here.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
That is Debra Boughton. More coming up on this edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 at AM 930.
This is The Drive with Paul Swann on ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.
Welcome back to the Wednesday, December 14th edition. The Drive continues here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. Last night, if you weren't with us on our postgame, you heard Dan D'Antoni talk about Marshall's loss to UNC Greensboro. The Herd went down 75-67. We talked about it yesterday, just to allude to the fact that, and I'm not trying to make excuses for Coach. Coach isn't really making excuses either, but that was a tired-looking team last night. They've been on the road, and they continue the road trip to Greensboro, and it just felt off a little bit when watching them. And last night when we caught up with Dan after the loss, he talked about, one, it was a good team they faced off against, and two, at one point he mentioned that you could see they were a little tired in the legs.
Tough game. Those guys, got to give them credit. They played their tail off. They made a lot more shots than they normally do, and didn't miss any free throws hardly. We need to work on it. Hurt not being able to have Ann Logden whole ball game. He never got into a really good rhythm with foul problems. I had to save him whole first half, and everything else is kind of we didn't have that energy that we've had. You can say we've been away from home 7 out of the last 8 days, right during final week. Andy didn't practice. There's a lot of reasons, but that turned into alibis, and I don't want to do that. I think you have to understand that that's the way it is, but we got to fight through it, and I think they will. We'll go home, take tomorrow off, rest. Got a big game with Toledo, who's always been a tough matchup at home. Got a new playing surface, and these kids will be fired up. We'll give them a little bit of rest. Hopefully we'll have our first step back, but you can tell we shot 6 of 26 and from threes, and that's tired. That's tired legs.
6 of 26, 7 of 16 from the free throw line for the game. They were 27 of 72. Assists were a little down. Rebounding, almost on par. UNC Greensboro was pretty good rebounding coming into the game, and they out-rebounded the Herd 45-41. It wasn't really domination on any side of the glass. Marshall had its opportunities, 19 offensive boards, 22 on the defensive side. UNC Greensboro was better on the defensive glass, 30 boards there and 15 on the offensive glass. So Marshall had an opportunity. Thundering Herd had some chances to win this game, but ran out of gas. Disappointing I'm sure, for the team coming back home. Going to be playing on that brand new court. That'll be Saturday, taking on Toledo. We're going to be there. It'll be bright and early for us. No nighttime basketball. We've got an afternoon game, late afternoon game. That's coming up on Saturday. Listen to the game here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930 and on 93.7 The Dog. We'll take our final break, come back, talk a little bowl. We've got comments from several of the Herd's best and brightest, including Devin Miller, Owen Porter, and Eli Neal on going to the bowl. We'll do that when we continue on tonight's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930.
We're taking Paul Swann everywhere. Download or subscribe to The Drive with Paul Swann on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
It's our final segment of today's edition of The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. I'm your host, Paul Swann. We're here every day, Monday through Friday, except for certain days like Friday. We've got bowl action starting this week. It's on Friday, and then it goes all through the holidays. So if you're looking for bowl action on those certain days, you can't be home watching the games. You can listen to them if you're out in the car, you're out with your radio, wherever you need to be, and you want to take the games with you, you can do so right here on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. We're going to have the game we all care about, the Myrtle Beach Bowl. That's coming up. 11:30 a.m. is going to be our airtime on Monday. 2:30 is going to be kick. And Devin Miller, talked to him yesterday, and he's excited. All the players, honestly, they're excited, and that was nice to hear. They're excited about going to the bowl game. Devin Miller talked about going down to the Myrtle Beach Bowl.
Yeah, it's rewarding, changing the scenery, getting a trip out of it, making some good memories with your friends, and, playing football that one last time in a new location, something like you won't forget, changing that location and switching it up a little bit. Like it adds a nice memory, finishes off the season great, and it is rewarding if you get that win. So I think it's time to get back on that track.
Owen Porter, being one of the native West Virginians on the team, going to the bowl, talking to him, he's excited. Food was a priority for him, but he's a veteran now, but he appreciates every single one of them. This will be his fifth bowl he talked about.
This one's my fifth bowl game. All right, I'm not as old as Dev. I'm old, but I'm not that old. It does feel pretty good. I got friends who've only been to one or two bowl games in the same amount of time as me. So, we're very fortunate to make it to a bowl game every single year. And, once you make it to the bowl, it's like it's your reward. So enjoy it while you can, but at the end of the day, the most important thing is winning the game.
It is a reward. That is true. Something that hopefully these kids will enjoy for the rest of their life, but at the same time, they keep score, so you got to go out there and win it. Eli Neal also shared his feelings about heading down to the Myrtle Beach Bowl.
No, I'm not naive enough to say that, it's just a game. It's just this, we made a bowl game. That's not easy to do. We had to win 7 games this year instead of 6. So just to be able to appreciate the fact that we have done that and accomplished a chance to go there is one part, but the other part of it is that we're going down there to win a game, and we do understand that. We're treating this as a second season. This game is a season in itself, and we're trying to go out with a bang. That's what we're going there for.
Going out with a bang. That is Eli Neal heading down to the Myrtle Beach Bowl. As you were with us earlier, if you weren't, we were speaking with Debra Boughton. She's the Executive Associate Athletic Director for Championship Planning and Resources. She won the title battle. She got the biggest and baddest title of all the titles that Christian Spears has handed out, and she earns every single moment of that title, making sure that the Herd has all the resources it needs to go out and compete. Christian Spears putting it out there himself. Going to be the first Sun Belt team in the expanded playoff. So Deborah's going to be fighting hard to make sure that that is a reality. And heading down to the bowl to experience the Myrtle Beach Bowl. It'll be me. I'll be here with you on game day for basketball. And they've talked me into it. I'm going to go to the Henderson Center on court side. I'm going to sit down, and I'm going to be competing against Charlie Hagley. It's going to be me doing color, and it's going to be Jason Toy doing play-by-play for the student radio station. the students are gone. So they called the old timers up out of the bullpen. So we're going to be doing the game. Jason's going to be doing all the heavy lifting. He's going to do play-by-play. I'm going to be there to assist him and help him out. Looking forward to it. That's coming up on the 19th. So tune us in. It's the student radio station. It's okay. You can tune us in for a little bit. 88.1 WMUL. We appreciate all the things that Dr. Charles G. Bailey and the students at Marshall University have done for me personally and for us here at Kinder Communications. So always glad to share the spotlight with the student radio station, and I'm looking forward to it. Get to be back on the Cutting Edge Sports Network. What do they call that? Cutting Edge Sports? I'm sure I'll get the corrected liner sheet from the professor real soon. That's going to do it for this edition. Thanks to my guest today, Debra Boughton, the Executive Associate Athletic Director for Championship Planning and Resources. Got to keep all those titles in order. For Debra, thanks again to her showing up and being on the show. We'll have her back real soon. I'm Paul Swann. This has been The Drive on ESPN 94.1 and AM 930. Don't forget, podcast available soon wherever you get your podcast.
WRBC Huntington, W227BS Huntington, your flagship home of the Marshall Thundering Herd and The Drive with Paul Swann, ESPN 94.1 FM and AM 930.